Yo, guys, welcome back to this week's episode of the JBK podcast. I am one third of the JBK, but actually one fourth of the JBK podcast today. We do have Big Mol. He is back, return of the Mac. But yeah, I am one third of your host, Ben Coleman. To my right, you do have Joshua Archer, aka Megamind. To the right of him, we do have K Mac Carter, aka the Ginger Nut. But we are the JBK podcast. Massive shout out to our sponsors who sponsor us every single week. We do have Northwest Plumbing and Heating. We do have TNT Records. We do have Transform Physique Gym. And we do have, last but not least, Lakeside Fire and Security. But also, massive shout out to the Knights for letting us be basically here every single week. Massive shout out to you guys. But yeah, welcome back. It has been a few weeks and we've got a lot to catch up on, lads.
We do.
So, for those of you that are listening on Spotify, welcome back to this episode of the podcast. You have probably just heard all that intro, and we still can't figure it out, can we? We don't know why the volume doesn't come through, I think, on Facebook. It's so frustrating. But yeah, massive shout out to all you guys listening. Mol, welcome back.
Thank you very much.
How does it feel?
Feels a bit odd, but nice at the same time.
How does it feel that we actually accepted you back on after the way you disgraced us last time?
Justice for Maul, it's finally happened.
Yeah, I'm waiting for cue my dad. He will be in a minute saying justice for Mol and all the usual. But yeah, mate, thank you for coming back on. Like I say, for any of yous out there that do want to come onto the podcast at any time, you can just book onto the page. I mean, it's entirely down to you. We don't chase people anymore. We did that for a period of time, but we felt it put a lot of pressure on him to potentially come onto something that they didn't want to do. So what we did was we've created it on our page now where that you can basically just book on whenever you want to. It will only allow you to book on for a Monday at this time, so you can't sort of get it wrong. But yeah, welcome everybody back. And Mol, what's been going on? Tell the world what's been happening.
It's been working. It's been what 5.5 months now that I've been at the bingo. That's been going well. Now everyone's getting trained in every area and every section of the company in itself, which is going to be interesting to see how that folds out. Working hard at the gym as much and as often as I can. I mean, I think it's close to 2 stone, 2.5 stone, somewhere around there. I weighed myself.
Well done, mate.
I weighed myself. I think it was because I was supposed to do it last Monday, and so I forgot to do it Monday. So I did it Tuesday morning. As soon as I woke
When are you
up.
weighing yourself?
So I do it every 2 weeks.
Yeah, what time of the day?
As soon as I wake up in the morning.
My man.
And so I wake up straight in the morning, and the last time I weighed myself, I think it was like 15.6, I think.
You're lighter than me, no?
Yeah.
To be fair though, mate, that should be it because of the height. But Mo, you mate, well done. Like I say, it's hard enough to stick to it. Going on a diet or anything like that, that's not the hard part, is it? It's actually sticking to it when
Yeah,
you
it's the
have
consistency for it.
when you have temptation, such as like I say, you get paid and you have a bit more money or whatever, and you're thinking, do I want fast food? Do I want to just not go today or
Believe
whatever?
me, there's been many times I've been very, very close to just snapping and just going, give me KFC or
Well,
something.
if you work... Oh, sorry, Mo. Carry on.
It's just one of them ones where you just sort of like, you try so hard not to force yourself from doing it.
Thing is, though, every now and again, you have got to let yourself have that treat.
Yes,
Because
I think
it
I've done
resets
it
your body.
twice. I think I've done it twice since I've started.
Must also be hard working at the bingo. Like, you work a lot of split shifts, don't you? So I'm guessing you get free
Yeah.
food. And it's not very healthy, any of that, is
We
it?
used to, and now we have to pay full price.
Justice for bingo. And that shit.
Big shout out to Opera Bingo. So big shout out.
We here at the JBK podcast do not condone any negative things said about opera, said bingo, or anything else for that
Oh,
matter.
'cause me and Ben are very big customers.
And you do treat us quite well usually. By that, letting the bandits make us win.
I've never been.
And Sam wish.
Honestly, it is a good laugh. It is a good laugh.
It's all right, but mate, like I say, massive sort of congrats to you for sticking to it more than anything, because as everybody knows, it's ever been on sort of like a healthy eating kick or a diet or lifestyle change, whatever you want to call it, it's fairly easy to sort of slip back into where it's easy. Whereas your job must have sort of your job and the fact you don't drive yet must also have an added layer of complication where it's like it almost gives you that extra excuse to not go.
Yeah,
And
because you do live quite a fair.
about 45 minutes away from the gym.
Yeah, you live
45,
about
50 minutes.
1.5, 2 miles away from the gym, don't you?
Yeah.
You've only got little legs.
Be a good little
Exactly.
walk for you, though.
And that's why, do you know when you saw the other day that it was about 25,000, 26,000 steps?
Yeah.
That was because I got up in the morning and I walked to the fucking gym. And then I walked back. And then I walked to work.
See,
Except-
that in itself, though, you will be burning the calories.
So he needs to put a pound in the jar, doesn't he?
You just swore.
He just went, I walked to the, he went, I walked to the gym.
Oh, we've got them all on first.
So we have our first comment, and surprise, surprise, it's my dad. Shock. I knew he wouldn't miss it for the world.
More.
But mate, honestly, like I say, it is a long old walk. I remember, obviously, I seen you in there I think it was on the weekend, or was it the Friday? I'd seen you in there
It
or
was the
something like that.
Friday.
And I just went, "Are you going to work? I'll drop you off." It must have saved you about half an hour. Literally,
It
like
did.
you don't realize how far away it is.
So
So
it's mental. It's
It's
worse,
about
but it's only,
20
two,
minutes.
it's only 2 streets. You walk down past Barrowfooty and then you walk down Oak Street, but the two
It's a
long
long
rows, aren't they?
it's
It
3
really is a
miles.
long
It's
walk.
3.2 mile from my house to my work, and I walked that once, and it took me an hour and a half. So I'm thinking, I put it this way: if I was in your shoes, I'm glad you have, for obviously because the gym's great, but for your shoes, that must be like an extra added motivation. The fact that you have joined a gym that is literally miles away from everything.
Fuck off, Tony.
Pound in a jar. It's free them all. All campaign was paid off. Don't lean that table because of the webcam.
Neil, Jesus Christ.
Oh,
So I'm gonna jump in first. Kaylee's put, how's mum and baby? So Ben,
It's Big Daddy.
it's the news we've got from you involving the new captain.
10 seconds of my life has now resulted in the rest of my life. So,
You're being generous with that, aren't you?
so,
That was getting
No.
undressed as well.
so, yeah, in that time I got undressed and still did it. No,
So then
And then
15 seconds.
oh, you had a cuddle as well.
yeah, just a little soapy reach around, you know. But no, I was, but yeah. So basically, we'd been planning we'd been trying for a baby, but we've been planning sort of. She came off contraception, and we'd been sort of on and off trying for like 2 years. Obviously, she was been pregnant for the last year, and then 10 days ago, obviously, she gave birth. A little boy named Archie. We can say the name now because I accidentally dropped it in one of the episodes.
Yeah,
a few months
I
back.
have a few times as well.
So it's Archie Carter Coleman. So Carter, the middle name, is basically for my granddad, my mum's side. They don't have any males in the family, so their last name was sort of gonna die with them. So we thought we'll chuck the name in there as well because it has some sentimental value. But we basically, yeah, he's here and he weighed £8.9 at first,
Big boy.
and they weighed him yesterday, and he's now £10 flat.
Empty.
Bulking season.
So,
Fucking sick.
so we're gonna get him on the cleanse.
Child cruelty.
get him on the fat stripper. But no, yeah, he's healthy. Mum's healthy. Like I say, we're both just tired. We've had a lot of help off a lot of people. Her mum, my dad, and it's like as you know, Kia, and as most people probably watching know, it's just an adjustment that I know we can do, but it's just difficult at the time. But yeah, it was how's mum and the baby. Actually, that's just brought me on to announce to everybody what the plan is. I know I did it on a video the other day with Kaylee, but her son, McKinley. The plan going forward that we all sort of decided on with the pressure washer.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
So I think you forgot about that, didn't you?
did.
I did.
I was going to say, so for those of you that are watching, so what happened was we had McKinley Dawson on, we had McKinley on a few weeks back with his mum. He's basically a young, I actually thought he was 14, he's 12.
Entrepreneur, a bit.
Yeah.
I'd sort of call it.
Yeah, so pressure washing cars he was doing. He was charging like £2 or £3 or something like that, and then £5 for bigger cars. But the pressure washer, when I went and got my car washed, I'd noticed that his pressure washer is very sort of light. By that I mean it's not. I don't think it'd be powerful enough to wash the dirtier type of cars in the summer when they're going off roading or they're traveling away or
Yeah.
whatever. So it just sprung to mind, and I thought you were only using it to wash the work cars, weren't you?
Me?
Yeah, the one that you bought off me.
No, I just washed the garden with it once.
Well, and there you go. So it was potentially going to sit there for maybe 6 months or maybe even once a month. Which, for us, as good as that is to have it, I think for us to potentially donate it to him who's going to benefit off it, and potentially, it's going to put him in a better stead, and he's going to be able to wash cars probably a lot better than he was and not spend
A
as
lot
much
quicker
time
as
doing
well.
it. Well, Pua, he was going to stand there and do my whole car like 2 or 3 times all over just to try and get the dirt off because I'm up at the waste plant, so the dirt's
Yeah.
thick as out and it won't come off. And I was stood there and I sort of, there was a part of me that just felt a bit sorry for him because he was trying his absolute best and the pressure washer wouldn't allow him to do what he wanted.
Yeah.
So, and I thought, the pressure washer that we had, you could take concrete off the wall. Or you could take concrete off the floor if it's on the right side. Obviously, I'm not
You
going
will have to show him like not to use them. ones.
Yes. So what I'm going to do is when we donate it, I'm going to sort of go and do like a show day with him and just sort of, I'm going to take my car and I'm going to basically wash my car in front of him, but show him the settings of what they can do and
Yeah.
get him comfortable with it because it is a lot more powerful than the one he's got. But yeah, so
just imagine that you didn't show him next minute he's in the hospital because he's took the front of his foot off.
or he's taking paint off people's
Someone's
cars
cars.
Yeah.
and a full paint spray. I mean, are you talking
A lot.
a few thousand maybe, depending on the type of car?
Keywood, no, he hasn't passed his test yet.
No,
Still know about that though.
but yeah, mate. Like I say, we're that's just reminded me. Yeah. So cheers, Kelly. Thanks for popping in. 'Cause you actually reminded us that that's sort of next on the agenda. Because as of I think this week, we'd have had all our stuff paid off, won't we?
Yeah.
We're actually positive. So yeah, so we are positive. The young man will clean up. Young man will clean up. Yeah, Dad. Come on, you know he will.
Just seen a man just go. There you go.
Yeah, so basically what that, for those of you that don't know, what that means is we'd been basically paying off all the podcast equipment that you can see for the better part of what,
A year.
a year or so, maybe a year and a half, maybe. And basically it'll be pretty much paid off before this Friday, I think. Won't it? Yeah, it will. Well, I know we've only got one payment left and it's 200 quid.
Got it in February.
Did we?
Didn't have it for Christmas.
No, I mean in general, going forward, all the equipment that we bought, we were either paying it off or we owed someone something or
Oh,
whatever.
yeah.
And now we're technically positive we owe
Right.
nobody nothing until we then go to Curry's and then use the credit account for the podcast and then go and get a new camera. But we'll see. But yeah, we're actually positive. So things are looking good, lads, aren't they? Mol.
Yes, mate.
Mol. Do you have any? I'm actually going to flip it. Do you have any questions for us? Because I know I'm going to put you on the spot. So what happens is we usually or ask the guest a lot of questions. Have you thought of any that you think the podcast might be able to answer for maybe the people watching at home?
I think what I would ask you boys is, considering that some things do get in the way, and so say the last 2 weeks you've all been unable to do the podcast. So that's why I would say, would you guys eventually prefer to have maybe 2 or 3 times a week that you would do the podcast, even if some of you do have to miss it, etc. Would you guys be open to eventually doing more than just once a week? Because say if you miss one, you've still got the other 2 to fall on, or you got the other one to fall on. You can find another day if you can, etc.
Kia, you go first.
It sounds like a good idea. It does, but obviously you've got to think of the hours that we work, and obviously with Ben having a newborn, me having obviously Harrison. I have set days with Harrison and that now, so
Josh having a bald head. I didn't want to leave you out, mate. Sorry. I mean, he's talking about us and kids and that, and I thought there's no else that, apart from you, maybe like I say, working away or whatever. But yeah, apart from I've got to shave his head every week, so that takes up a lot of time.
Ball.
No, it's not that bald. It's not. To be fair, he does suit it. It's actually annoying because so I'd cut his hair, right? I'd cut his hair, left the back and sides, cut it, and then next thing you know, he sent me a video where he'd completely bicked it off, and I went, "It's annoying because you actually suit that." Josh, you can have one of my kids, mate.
Fuck no.
that's another good
It's the way they swear at you.
Oh, there. Jar. We're gonna have the jar, yeah.
Yes.
Right, so I owe it £2.
So, So you think Nokia?
Well, it's a bit of a hit and a miss.
Don't backtrail, lad. Stick with your gut.
No, that's what I mean. It's a bit of a hit and a miss.
Beanhead.
Potato head, that mate.
Or is it potato?
It's a potato
It
head.
does look like a bean from here, though, doesn't it?
I'd say that's more Spud.
Spudhead, yeah, but potentially, but somebody's got a new phone.
Oh.
Oh, he just had to whip out the
Yeah,
plasma.
He's just sort of like,
To be fair, I want that. I've been wanting that phone for ages, but I just can't see. I just don't think there's a phone
So-
better than iPhone, as in the way
Mate,
it's set up.
there isn't a phone worse than iPhone.
No one.
oh,
No,
Right.
no.
So shut up, Ben.
You're not-
What's your answer to the question before
To-
we start
To,
dovetailing?
to,
Wasn't
to the
finished.
question, go on, Kia.
Sorry.
Go on, mate.
I just think, yeah.
No, you don't fucking talk.
Like I say, obviously we've got it good at the moment because it's a Monday, and that's something we can all
It's
work
not good though. Let's be honest. I've been quite with work and that.
Well, no,
it's been a lot I've had to miss.
Yeah, but that's understandable.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? That's understandable because obviously we're working away. But then going forward, if say we did do like 2 or 3 episodes a week, it depends on what days we could do them. And obviously, I have Harrison every other weekend, so it'd have to be work around that.
See you later, Tony.
So, if you think, so my answer to it would be yes, but like you said, it would have to work around me and her. So, we're not even in a routine yet. But also, Mo, to answer the question a bit more in depth as well, is I would be open to it, and this might be a bit controversial, but also not because we're trying to do it. If we started making serious money from it to the point where, I mean, don't get me wrong, I know we do well and we've done this because we love it. The only time that I would start thinking of maybe doing it 2, 3, 4, 5 times a week would be,
If we didn't have to work,
well, no, not even that, but if we start making money from it, but it was also, you start impacting people's lives more. If we started helping people a lot more and it was a positive thing for other people, I think it'd be worth it. Not even just for us, but just to help.
See, the thing is, I agree with what Ben just said, but it's not like the fact that, oh, we won't need to work because we don't take money from the podcast. Personally.
no,
No.
what I mean, like
Well, no,
Ben
I
said,
don't think we
really
would
make
anyway.
people
It'd be a
That's what I
business.
mean.
It'd be a business. You don't take money from your business until you can afford to.
Yeah, well,
but
yeah.
that's why I said at the moment.
At the moment, I mean,
I
no.
would.
I
Not right
'Cause
now.
that's why
but
I've got a second question to kind of add on
Yeah,
top of
so-
because to what you've just answered with, I've got
so
a
look at what
second
my
one.
missus just said. So pretty much the same thing I said and Kia said. Like it'd be difficult, but the only way would be as if it was beneficial for everybody.
Yeah. And that is to why I would ask the second question.
Go on.
You guys, you have this podcast, you have something. And in all honesty, and it's not to toot your horn, it's not to lick your backside.
Oh, no, it's fine, mate.
It's
Just say
you've
it, man.
You've
You're
got
not coming back on anyway,
it's
so
like
you can
you've-
say what you want.
What a twat.
You've got something here that you
Yeah.
can create something special. Look at the Simon. Look at what they've built. Look at what they've done with what they have.
There you go.
They-
Kick in the side, man.
No. It's not.
Ever since we
it's-
kicked you out.
It's no rubbish. It's no rubbish. Look at what they've created.
Thing
Look,
is, though,
look
you
at
have
the
got a point.
legacy
Yeah.
that they have
They
created.
came from nothing.
The Sidemen is a global brand.
But
They've created what they have. Maybe you guys could try and do something like that, not to a certain extent, or something like that
Yeah.
with the podcast.
I agree.
Where
Let's
you
say we're
can
fighting
get
each other.
people, you can get other friends, etc., that are close to you, or other family members, etc., that aren't busy, and they can come on the podcast and they say, "Oh, this is a special episode this week. Some of the guys are busy. We've got people that can step in."
I
Like the
like
Sidemen.
that. I like that, but then I also want to pick the brains out of that just quickly. And I don't know whether you'll agree or you'll agree, Mo. The Sidemen thing, going off what you said, is technically right, but you also need to think that that was literally a 1 in a billion chance. So the time they were doing the YouTube individually, YouTube was banging for that sort of content, right? Then all of them were friends through YouTube, some of them from personal friends before YouTube, and etc. etc. Anyway, they joined together. That was a one-off. If someone was to try that now, it wouldn't happen because YouTube now isn't like that anymore. The times are changing
It's
again.
gone in a complete different direction now.
Times are changing again. So same as with these, like you see these groups get together, whether it's about TikTok or Facebook or YouTube or even streaming, it's all changed again. So like the Sidemen, no, maybe something different that possibly, but we never know what's around the corner. But we are also aware that life does tend to usually take over a bit beforehand. Whereas when you start adding commitments on, i.e., like myself and Kia and Josh, you eventually will. I can see it. Unless you make it in YouTube, you will stop at some point because your commitments will take over. life will just take over. If you get a fiance and you buy a house and you have a kid and you drive, you won't find time to sit there for 6 hours doing YouTube. You just can't.
I wouldn't say 6 hours. I would say
Unless you've
a little
got,
bit how KSI does it. Like all he does is his commentary stuff.
unless you
You
get
do that.
unless you get 100,000 followers or 500,000 followers and you're actually getting paid a wage to do it, you won't be able to carry it on.
And he only can do that because of the platform he's built for the years
Exactly.
before. But small guys can't. We can't do that now. I can't even barely stream at the moment.
I can't remember. You know what? That's a lie. I played my Xbox about 2 days ago for an hour, and the time before. Can you remember last time I played?
Yeah,
Xbox before that?
you said no. The last time you were gonna was when you said, "Oh, I'll be on in a minute," and then you'd actually forgotten, fell asleep because you'd been away for like 18 hours, or you'd been awake for 18 hours. So I agree. I also agree with my fiance there. It'd be difficult, but she would understand if we were at a point where it was huge. If we were at a point where we were massive, as in we have our own place, we have the platform, we have the brand, we have the guests, Beth would be the first person to go, you go and do the podcast, I'll cover it here. She would 100%. But at the moment, priorities are we've got a newborn baby and he is a priority amongst absolutely everything, amongst all of yous, amongst all this. If he's ill or if something goes wrong, same as Kia is with Harrison, I'm there. And I think these would use.
Archie's a priority in my life, lad.
Yeah. So, but the thing is, though, it would be the same for you. So I'm not going to sit here and say, oh, never. But at the moment, it's a maybe. You never know. But I'm open. I'm open to doing more days, but it's just time.
So it's like that, though. It's like obviously we're like best mates.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? So
Yeah.
it's like your priorities, like Archie, become
All
our
of our
priorities.
priorities link, sort of thing. So it matters. Yeah, yeah.
I thought he was going to say that about me. To be perfectly honest, so I'm quite humbled by that.
Supposed to. Wait there.
You got your headset on.
Wait.
Ah, shit.
Wait there. Wait.
It's another time. Another
Wait
time.
there. Wait there. I was watching Family Guy last night and it came on.
The band ones are the better ones.
I agree. But yeah, Mol, to answer that, honestly, I agree with you to a point. I think your circumstance is completely different. So you can keep chasing that at the moment. And I hope it does work. As I've always said to you, I'll stick with you from the start. I watched your first videos and I still watch them now. And I'll still watch them even if you get millions and millions on them, right? But I hope.
Probably forget about us when that happens.
No, I know he won't. Don't even doubt
won't.
that for a second.
Oh yeah, I know.
Because it's not in his makeup. But what would change in his makeup is if you were to then gain more priorities.
Different foundation, maybe.
Oh, you know what I mean? My God, it's like speaking to a child, innit?
Like, what about when a Mrs. Molyneux comes along?
And then a baby, and then a house, and then a car.
I mean,
Or a Mr. Molyneux? We don't judge.
so
Hanging out back here.
That's a quid. I know you didn't even square, right? But that's a quid.
We're here on the podcast.
That's
We're
five.
all and every. Disclaimer. But yeah, honestly, mate,
Does it go, Ben? Solutions driven.
we are, as my dad would say, we are solutions driven.
I
But
remember that.
the thing is, though, you actually can't answer that question, believe it or not. You can't. It's impossible for you to
No,
say
I
yes or
can't.
no.
I would hope. What I would hope for is if I've built the audience there, etc. I can do something similar
Yeah.
to what JJKKSI does. That's something that I would like to do if I was in that position.
I agree.
But who knows what's going to happen? Say if a Mrs. Molyneux comes along.
So if you were stuck where you are now, and when I say stuck, I don't want you to take that as literal. So say, for instance, in 5 years' time, and I know we can't do this, but hypothetical, say,
Yeah.
5 years' time, your channel is still below 2K
Yeah.
or 3K or 5K, say, and you might make 20 quid a video or 20 quid a week, and you sit there and you think, I'm spending like 10 hours a week doing this, and you're thinking, I'm actually, at that point, you're earning, so it does become a job. It's not just a hobby, it's a job as well. So you're basically working for £2 an hour.
Yeah.
And you're thinking, my missus wants to go out for tea tonight, or I can't, I said I'm doing videos, or we want to go. Do you know what I mean? It becomes a point where it's like you need to evaluate, like, right, is this actually still worth it and giving it more time, or is it worth calling it and then focusing your energy on something else?
I think if I was 5 years in and it was like that, then probably yes, I'd stop.
Yeah.
But
I'm just going to stick up for you a second here
I like that though.
You know, it's a good answer, right? But that is one of them decisions you can't answer because that is going to have to be one of them on the spot, in your heads. Which way am I going here? Left, right, backwards, or forwards?
you never know.
Can't make it until that day.
Yeah, because
I like your honesty though.
because you never know though with YouTube. You could literally have 5 years of nothing, and then all of a sudden you do one video,
Mr. Beast.
and then boom.
That's how you did it. You give 10 grand away to some random guy on a video.
But this is what.
Yeah,
no,
but his first ever video, he counted to a ridiculously massive number.
no, but think about it, right? Though that video where he said he was giving it away, a sponsor approached him,
Yeah.
but he still had a bit of an audience. He didn't just start with 800 subs and then jump to 20 million or 100. When they approached him, he was on like 500k subs, wasn't he?
Something like
Which
that.
already built a good
You-
foundation.
People don't just approach. Once again, you might have the occasional fake sponsor, but big sponsors won't approach. Sorry, a channel like Moles, yet, because they'll look and think, well, we can go for someone that's got 100k subs,
Yes.
because they're looking at it as like, as you know, like the CPU rate. They're looking at
Yeah, they're looking at where they can get the most views from, the most clicks,
exactly.
the most, as you would say through Facebook here, like reactions and etc. etc.
Big comment that.
Oh, I like that.
So,
So I'll read that out.
Go on, Josh.
Would you be open to going on other more established podcasts to help get the word out there?
Yes.
What are the short-term, realistic follower targets? Listened all the way from Suffolk Boys will spread the word.
thank you very much.
100% personally, yes.
We travel for it as well.
Yeah.
Yep, we definitely would.
I'd
This is what
love
we're
it.
about. This is what we're about.
I'd love to go. Do you know why? And I'd love to go. And it's actually quite sad, really, but it's also good for us. And I think you would be on the same wavelength.
It's not,
Like,
even, it's not even that though. We're getting out of Barrow. Do you know what I mean?
but I don't even care about that. I care about going on to other people's podcast to learn.
You'd be
But
buzzing
then,
your little,
but then
No, I
total-
wouldn't.
you'd
No.
be buzzing your little titties off if bloody
£2.
Brian through Geordie came in.
But the thing is, that I'd be more interested in not him as a person. I'd be more interested in how they run their podcast to see
well,
where
I mean,
we
I
can
don't know,
improve.
Learn.
Like even
That's what I'm saying.
Logan said it when they did Impulsive, when he did it in the UK with KSI. He literally was, even with the cyber, it's like a production. He's got about 10, 15, 20 people
Well, this is why I want
behind
to
the
say it.
scenes
Yeah.
just running the cameras and stuff. I was like, yeah, that sounds about right. Production here in the UK is dumb.
Samuel, that is a cracking question, by the way, and I think we should spend a bit more time on it because I don't want us to just pass that because I love that.
No.
So there's a problem with it, and I don't want to be the stickler. The only problem we've got is most of the podcasts that are bigger tend to want guests with a name,
Yeah.
which I found quite difficult. So I'd go and watch other people's podcasts that are still small, and I'll comment saying, "Would you be open to have another podcast come on and speak about and link up?" And sometimes they get ignored. Sometimes they get, "Oh, we're looking for someone with a bit more parameters," and it's like,
Basically, you don't have enough followers, bar off.
well,
Technically, yeah.
That's what it means.
no, I know technically, but also you've got to respect their stance on it. You can't just say,
Well, of
well,
course.
why not? Because say, for instance, if we've got 1 million subscribers and we have all this stuff, we're not going to then. We probably will, because that's where our podcast is about supporting the local. But we wouldn't then go to a random guy that we, doesn't watch or has absolutely nothing to offer. Go, no, you're not following, you're not big enough, mate. But we're not about that.
No,
But
we're
some
not.
podcasts are.
Yes, yeah.
But you also said, what are your short-term realistic follower targets? So
Well, that's a good question.
we've got it.
What are we on now? 600 and something.
Ours is
It's all-
1,000.
It's all right. To be
No,
honest,
what I mean at the moment, what's our
be
current?
completely
Your
honest
follower
with you.
target 640
Shut up.
or
Talking.
50 something.
Talk.
Do apologise now.
You're talking over the hosts.
Right, baby.
So to be honest with you, Samuel, we're not massively. Oh, we need to hit 1,000. We need to hit 15, and we need to hit 5,000. We're not really that.
You're not like what I was.
Yeah, we're not. We're not consumed by it. The more we get, the
Great.
better, because it means we're getting a wider audience. Obviously, we do a lot with mental health and things like that, try and help people where we can. So the more people we reach, the better we feel doing the podcast, because we know
Agree.
that we're going to be helping people, even if we don't know we're helping them, even if they don't reach out or comment or like, if they just watch silently. At least we've got the nice feeling that we could have helped someone today. We could have made them happier.
Exactly.
We could have made them feel better.
But on the plus side of that, we have had it, haven't we? Where we've been out for like a drink and
Yeah,
someone's
yeah.
come up to us and been like, your podcast has really helped me over the last couple of weeks.
Yeah, it's brilliant.
No, I've had it at work as well. I've had a
You know
few
what I
people
mean?
come up to me about it.
So we spoke about this a few weeks. I think it was a few months back. Actually, it might have even been when we first hit 500. You sort of then become too numbers driven, where you're not interested in the content anymore. You start becoming obsessed with a number, where it's like, oh my god, we need to hit this. Oh my god, we need to hit it. And then when you hit it, it's like people are watching your content and they're bored because you've just been obsessed of just gaining followers that are not really your target audience. So for us, we want people that want to watch us. And if you don't want to watch us, that's fine. That is you're completely within your right to not listen. But if you become obsessed with the numbers, you then find that your videos don't actually get real views. Like as in, it might look in where we might have 1,000 viewers.
We're more passionate, and if we were less passionate and more for the followers,
We probably would have more,
this would be a shit podcast.
but we'd probably have more, wouldn't we?
Yeah.
Let's call a spade a
I'm,
spade.
I'm not, we don't try and bluff it. We're not bothered. You know what I mean?
Yeah, so that's actually. Oh, mate, we need you in here more often. Your questions are and comments are great. I get Mole's comment about expanding production, etc., but there's something engaging about keeping it quite raw too, right? So I understand that. What Mole was saying is in when you get to that big level where you are true Geordie, where you are impulsive, where you are all these big guys that can afford to do it, you want to create that because it is like a production thing. But for us, they'd started a podcast when they were already big outside of the podcast.
I think True Geordie was in the middle. I think he was on his way.
His first guest wasn't small though. We weren't a guy
It-
from his local town, was it?
But no, but it wasn't a huge guest. He was in the middle, and then throughout continued doing YouTube and the podcast. Then I think not long after he started doing the kickoff, which is for the football, etc. That's what really started expanding him and getting him out there.
Do you know what I like the most about our podcast? The fact none of it's scripted.
I don't think. Well,
Have you guys seen the new podcast? I said, yes, I have.
No, I've heard it, but I don't know
I've-
what it is. I've not
it's,
watched it
Yeah,
yet.
I've not watched it either.
They've got Brad Singleton on as the first ever guest. Super League, Brad Singleton from Barrow, plays for Wigan Warriors.
Yeah, I know. But then once again, you come to it and you're thinking, are those guys popular outside of the podcast already? Do they have loads of people?
It's James Bonner and that, yeah. The
Well, yeah, they're not exactly small guys, are they? So this is what I'm saying.
I wish them the best of luck.
Oh, so do I. It's better for the town. It's better for the town when you start getting guys that can push out and do it.
Boys.
But the difference is it's going to sound bad the way I'm going to phrase this, but we're all nobodies.
Oh yeah.
By that I
100%,
mean
yeah.
we're all mates within our own right, but we're all nobodies really. We don't play like we don't play fucking in the jar. We don't play rugby or football for our local town, or we're not professional at anything or any of that stuff. We're just normal, regular guys. So for us, it's going to be harder for us to maybe gain the
But
following.
the difference between, obviously, I don't know, I've not watched that or heard that podcast, but there's obviously a massive difference between our podcast and theirs, as what we talk about.
It looks like they might be going more about sport. I think this is.
Potentially. I
I think this one looks more general topics. This is more everyday stuff where in real life stuff when it comes to mental health. It comes to talking about younger folk that are doing good things in the local community. It's things going on in real life. It's things like Ben's just had a child, etc. It's that sort of stuff. Whilst with those guys, which they do look like they are very, very good and they're going to be fantastic, it does look like they're going to be more focused with sport, getting in the some local sport stars, etc. Some other stars that are from maybe elsewhere, maybe start off trying to build it on from having Northwest and Cumbria, etc. Just trying to get some lads, etc., or lasses that are stars in sports around that area to then eventually maybe branch out, etc. But
Macaulay has said, I think an interview style pod would be the way to go. I agree, but it's that, and we'll be honest, the trouble we've had is getting people that are different to come onto the podcast to be interviewed, because when they're of a certain status, say not local, say for instance you go slightly higher than local and you want to bring someone that's quite relatively small, but say for instance in a profession or something like that, they probably won't have the time of day to come on. I mean, what on earth has just happened there? Is it refreshing the comments?
I think so, mate.
Yeah, but I think the interview style way to go on in. So that I think Zara had originally commented something like saying there'd need to be more than just a podcast. The audience would be pushed out further to more age ranges. So we need to be careful with age ranges because we swear.
Yeah.
Because we swear and talk about stuff that usually you've got to be over 18 or you've got to be over 16. I know we
I
can't
think it's 16, isn't it?
we can't stop people from stumbling across the podcast, but if we try and keep our content as real and as pure and also
See, we've openly in the past spoke about personal, what would you call it, down moments in life, like
well, sex, drugs, debt, gambling, all of it. We spoke about all of
Suicide,
it. Spoke
a
about
lot.
all of it.
It's like one of our very first podcasts. We all opened up to each other about what we've been through.
Mm.
I think only then we only had about 3, maybe 4 people watching, but that's one of our most watched episodes, and we all opened up.
we
know what I
spoke
mean?
about mine and Ben's debt troubles. We spoke about me when I tried to kill myself. We do speak
We-
about the highs as well, though, like the good moments. But
We celebrate the highs, but we also celebrate the lows because
If it's
It's
for the
real.
laws, it doesn't make you who you are.
but it's real though as well.
Yeah, of
Like
course it is.
Sam's just said then, or Samuel, sorry, literally stumbled basically across this, I think. But it's refreshing having a podcast that keeps it simple and talks about real life, none of this fake stuff. So that actually fills me with joy, that because that's the reason why we started this.
if we're being fake, we're not doing the podcast. End of
It's not even that. We're not being us.
No.
Because when you see us, we're the same outside of the podcast as we are on it. And people from the town, you know, some people love it, some people don't. Some people don't even know it exists, some people do. But it's the same across the board. And Zara said, yeah, I totally get that. So basically about obviously the content, her thing's actually sort of,
Just Sam.
I never use Facebook, usually listen on Spotify.
Oh.
Well, we do. The boys do have Spotify as well,
I managed to figure it out. It took me about 4 hours one night, but I figured out how to get it on there.
and you have
Ben figures everything out.
just sorted out the video format for it as well, haven't you? Yeah.
So basically, the site that we used lets us upload the video format of this. So if you want,
It's pointless.
it is. But if you want to watch, if people
I mean,
don't
it's-
have Facebook, you can.
Just in case.
It still
Yeah,
plays. It still plays in the background when you watch the video on it.
Even if you watch it, it's kind of putting like a face to the name, isn't it?
Exactly. Oh, but yeah, I'm really happy with where we are. Do I think we could do better? Of course I do. Do I think we could also be doing a lot worse? Too right, I do.
Yeah, of course.
Definitely.
But I think because we're all. See, so
Sorry,
you,
that was a motorbike going by.
see, but you don't see, but you don't get this on not you don't get this on other podcasts, do you? You don't get this on other podcasts.
That's
That's
the time you come on, Jordan.
it's real. That's a real fart. It's not no joke, no editing, no nothing. Real. But that's another reason as well why we upload to YouTube with no editing. That's another reason why we wanted to. Ah. So that's another reason why we upload to YouTube.
At least you know what they are. I press them randomly.
Anyway,
Christ.
You're right, Ben.
no, that's another reason why we upload to YouTube as is, because if you start editing stuff, it then becomes not you.
Yeah.
So we don't have an intro. We've got a little intro on here. We don't have an outro.
I mean, if you would like one, I can do
No.
a quick 10-second one.
It's not that. It's just so what happens was
Oh.
from this £4.
Generally,
Bye.
No, I know. So
4 or 5. I can quickly-
potentially, maybe in the future, but we just upload as is at the moment, just because it's easier and quicker. But it's also if in case people miss it on the others.
It's not even that though. The way we do our podcast, we like the style of it.
So-
We like the way it rolls.
To be honest, we try and keep it as real to us, and none of us are video editors. So we're not asked about having an edited video because it's not us. We want it to be as real as possible and as accurate as possible to our lives or other people's lives that that watch. So we keep it simple, straightforward, and just a real podcast.
So we will mess up live. We'll say things we shouldn't. We will fart on the podcast, Kia. We will look like crap on the podcast, Kia. We will
Oh,
We'll
that,
give- we'll-
that's a low one. That's a
we'll
low one.
we'll give each other crap. We'll give each other digs, and ultimately, we've always said this: if you like it, you like it. If you don't, you don't. We are the Marmite of the podcast scene. I love Marmite on tour,
yeah.
crumpets,
You're a dosser.
That was about
absolutely
There was
falling
always
out
going
the
to be
bottom of a
somebody that gave
crumpet.
you the ick.
Right, so as an example, right? You can tell we haven't got the most professional setup.
Oh,
Wires hanging like
Honestly,
top.
on my shoulder.
Or like honestly, because it's grinding my gears as well.
Thing is, though, things like this will improve over time.
Yeah.
You
We
know,
are still waiting for our home of the podcast to actually finish there.
I'll show you what it looks like.
I don't know about that. lad.
It's not that you might not get the camera back set up. So basically, what we were doing was we were
Well, we'll get a picture of it.
Yeah.
Take a pic of it.
No, because we've done that before when we were doing the wheel
No,
for the winner of the competition. You can't focus on something dead close to it.
So what we'll do is we'll take a picture of the room on the phone and upload it separate and show you what we're working with at the moment.
Oh,
the
look.
Knights, the Knights are doing this room up.
You best make sure that's all right with
Yeah, of course we will.
Carly.
The Knights
I'll
are
just tell her.
the Knights are doing this room up for the World
Yeah, put it
Cup.
up.
So there's tables, chairs, furniture, toilets, everything's basically being brand newly done.
I was about to say.
If you go on the Just Small YouTube page, watch one of his videos. It just looks like his bedroom.
Pretty much, yeah.
An
I need to
absolute
tidy it
dump.
up.
No, it
I need to tidy it
no,
up again.
no, let's just not give him let's not give him the platform. Don't give Mole the platform
And
to
I'm-
talk about his crap
Stop that.
And I'm,
bedroom.
and I'm also looking to get a green screen very, very soon, so you won't be able to say anything.
No one has.
You already have one.
Oh, no.
You had one behind you.
Maybe look like a fucking butterfly.
You look like a peacock.
But at the end of the day, all this could be avoided. Just clean your room
well, that's what I am doing. when I
rather
get
than
home.
spending like 300 quid. No, you're not. Stop.
Oh, well,
So
well.
what did you say? I'm going to clean my room. A week later, still a fucking tin.
But anyway, it doesn't.
for me.
It doesn't matter. It's up to him, innit? He's his own man. He can do what he wants. But what has been going on with you guys in the 2 weeks that we had off? And apologies for that, by the way. The main reason I wasn't going to be there is obviously a newborn baby, and Josh was originally working away, and I think Kia was going to. I think I ended up having to have his son one of the nights, so we did have to cancel. But
I
with
thought he
you
was at the
guys,
cinemas.
he's absolutely handing out tongue sarnies. So anyway, what?
Childish mother.
So it was even smelling his fingers on the way out. I'm like,
That's how you know becoming a man.
what's that? My ass. So, what have you been up to the past 2 weeks? What's been going on?
Mainly, obviously, work. Finally settling in properly to my own flat. So it's been about a month now, and it's starting to feel real. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah, yeah.
Obviously, work's changed quite a lot. I've changed job roles again.
Yeah.
Still projects, but slightly different, which is good. It's going well, going good in my favour as well because I'm doing courses and stuff like that. But yeah, to be honest, I'm happy.
Good.
That's the main thing.
I'm happy
Yeah,
for you.
good.
Obviously, back in the gym.
But since I've helped you move in with your flat, should I say, I keep getting phone calls off the tenancy agency that are not a real thing to link with you. But ever since I've done that, I get phone calls like 6 times a day off them. Nothing to do with you, but it's just ironic. So I tell them, take me off this. I own my house. See you later. 6 times a day on different numbers. I block everyone. They ring me back every time. So I don't know if your landlord's trying to play a joke on me or he's having a laugh or what. But since I helped you move into your flat, it's just I just get pestered all the time. I don't know why.
No, I think it might be just because of obviously what you've done to help me
Yeah.
out.
Maybe. I don't know, but it is what it is, isn't it? What about you? What about you, Joshua?
Worked, gym, and I've been ill for about the last 6 days. Yesterday is the day I started feeling normal. That's literally about it.
Sweet.
Short and sweet, just
Would
like
you like to
normal.
go first, Ben?
I was indicating to you as the guest, but it doesn't matter. We will move on. No one cares. Go on, mate. So, what past 2 weeks, as in obviously from us, I know obviously you've not been on the podcast for a few months, but past 2 weeks, have you had any struggle? Have you had anything good happen? What's been on the agenda? What's been going on?
I mean, all that I have on the agenda is just focusing on just losing this weight because now, like for the first time as well, I actually went round to my parents' house last night,
Good. I did see that actually.
Grass in the sand.
and like for the first time, like I think we had like a proper, genuine adult conversation, and I think that they're a little bit surprised to see me speaking in the way that I am speaking, and I've just simply gone, well, your eldest has finally realised it's time to grow up. He's realised that he needs to basically get his finger out of his ass and realise what he needs to do.
Yeah.
I mean, yes, YouTube. I love YouTube, and I love making content. I love making people laugh. I love making people smile. And hopefully, one day that those dreams do become a reality. But then there's also dreams that I have. I want to make my own clothing line. I want to make a company that is a place of education for people that have talents in the arts that may not may not feel like they have their voices heard or their talent seen, because no talent agency is coming all the way up to the northwest, just above Blackpool, in an absolute shithole.
I disagree.
Nah,
With that mindset, it will
last,
never happen.
the last time any sort of talent agency came up to Barrow, it was when my brother was a kid playing football.
Well, it's happened with me because I got scouted when I was a kid. It doesn't mean they don't come here. It just means you weren't good enough to be picked. That doesn't mean they
Brad-
don't come up here.
Brad Singleton, Greg Richards, Jackers O'Neill.
But I mean, I mean by talent agencies or scouts that are for.
You mean for drama? You perform
Thing is, though, mate,
because no one's really
Did-
good. No one's really at that level
They
here.
don't come and find you. either.
How do we know that?
You apply. You don't get found to star in fucking Marvel's next series. You apply.
But the thing is, though, how does that happen, though? The only way that you can get out there and you can get that is if something was out there to help you get your talent out there.
So how
An
does
agency.
so how do other people do it
Then
then?
there's agencies that cost stupid amount of money.
But if that's what you want to do, you go for it, don't you?
Thing is,
So
right, you go.
I would want a company that was
Yeah.
somewhat affordable, well, absolutely 100% affordable, and it would just simply be starting from, the very, very bottom of, you say, your novice. It's literally a novice degree or a novice level, and you build all the way up. You've got coaches that
Like drama school then.
it's a drama school, but it's not just a drama school. It's a place of education, but it's also a place where people can feel at home.
Example. So, talking about drama, we know someone that was on Waterloo Road.
Even as an extra, but he
Yeah,
did it.
he was
And
on it.
My mate Scott McGuckin, he was on there. He was on
My cousin was on there as well.
No one asked.
but then you're thinking, no, Mol, to be fair, you've got a point, but I also think it depends on the person. Because there's drama school away, you can move away to open up your opportunities. Staying in Barrow and then saying, oh my God, no one comes up here, shame on me. It's never going to work for you anyway.
It's not saying shame on me. It's those people that are the less fortunate.
It's one of them.
I
though.
agree, but
Like- Sorry, go on, Ben.
sorry, what's different for them to go away? Go to uni and go and do it away.
Some people may not have the funds to go to uni.
Uni's covered for you.
Get,
Government
Not
pays
always,
it.
though.
College, it's free.
College is free. but
Uni is covered.
uni, it can be a little bit of a different case.
No,
Why?
uni, you technically get. So when you go to university, the government pays for it up front. They pay for your courses up front. They pay for your housing up front. Like you get paid 3 monthly, so quarterly, and your rent gets taken out. You get left with what's left. You can get a part-time job while you're at uni
which
to make
everybody
extra
does.
money, which they do. They all go work in bars or restaurants, things like that, on minimum wage to make money to live off, to go to the parties, do whatever, buy what they need. Then, when you come out of university, when you start earning more than 22,000,
30. I think it's over 30 now.
Yeah, it's gone up.
when you start earning over £30,000 a year, you start paying your uni fees back. But it's like 40 quid a month.
But if you never earn over 30, you
You
don't
never
pay a
pay
penny.
it back.
What's his face who did The Office? Not The Office, The American Office. That Jim. It was Dwight and Jim. Who's the actor called? He's married to Emily Blunt.
I don't know about
Krasinski.
Is it Josh?
John Krasinski.
Yeah,
or
John.
John.
whoever he is. But his story was the same. He went, I'm going to go to university or acting school for 1 year. If I don't make it within a year, I'll quit and I'll come and do a normal job. And that's what he said to his mum, and his mum went, okay. He went there, and it was his last chance saloon. He took a risk, went there, and lo and behold, he then got the office. Now he's never looked back.
Chris
But
Pratt.
But he took a risk, like everyone else. Sitting in Barrow and staying here and not doing everything possible outside of your possibility or talent first, you're never going to do it. It's just like saying, I want to start a cleaning business, but then not looking around for cleaning products. It's like, oh, well,
So the similar story for Chris Pratt. Moved to Hollywood, literally had no money to his name.
ate food off people's plates.
Yeah, working at a restaurant. And he literally got, while he was working there, it was a woman, she was directing one of the films, and she just looked at him and said, right, basically, you fit the description of someone I need in my film. So she took him for a. It's not really what's it called? Like a casting
Yeah, it's a
interview.
casting audition.
Yeah, audition. And he got the part. Now look at him. Do you think he regrets going to Hollywood with no money?
But he also put himself in that position by taking the risk to
Exactly.
be in the restaurant.
Was it casting couch by any chance?
No.
No, but the thing is, though, I agree with what Mo wants to do. Is in I
Why?
agree in the grand scheme of things. What he would like to do is to create something maybe up here so people don't have to move away. But
That's
unfortunately,
exactly-
But you might have to take that lump jump for everyone and then bring it back.
because you're sitting in Barrow saying no one looks at help round here or whatever, they're not looking themselves to move away to somewhere where you're going to get noticed. That's like the same as if you start a business. You want to go to somewhere where it's more densely populated because there's more chance of more people buying your stuff. That's why people want to. That's why they advertise Prime in Asda. That's why they advertise Prime at Arsenal. It's more people see the stuff. If you just sit in your own town and don't risk anything, you're not going to get anything anyway.
Say they released Prime at Caffs on Bath Street. How well do you think it'd have done?
It'd have done nothing. It wouldn't have sold.
All 50 or 100 people that use that shop every week, they're the only ones that are going to know about it. But there's an Asda in every town from here to fucking.
Down the country, in the whole country.
Yeah, till Jim Bob's house down in fucking Plymouth. You know what I mean, though?
So it's just broadening your thought process and thinking it's not sometimes your environment, it's the mindset that you're willing to go to get to that spot. Because I only got noticed when I was a kid playing football because we played in Blackpool in a tournament. It wasn't even in Barrow. They'd seen me in a tournament in Blackpool and it was living. We used to go every year. And then a Bolton scout got hold of my coach and then came down to Barrow to watch me play. But we went to Blackpool, and the only reason I got noticed was because of Blackpool. But if I never went there, I would never have got scouted anyway.
Yeah.
And look, don't get me wrong, it didn't go my way, and then I had an operation, but I was not good enough anyway.
It's one of them though as well. Like you're saying about doing this in Barrow, but then you're saying, "Oh, well, no one will come here." But then it's like if that's a dream of, like, say yours, for instance, go and chase it. Move out of Barrow. Look at the bigger picture.
And then,
Which you've always wanted to do anyway. You want to move to London.
and then once you've made it and you're thinking, I know there's talent in Barrow,
Bring it
you
to
can then use your
platform.
platform, right? I'm going to Barrow. I know there's talent there. But if you've got a big platform, other people are going to think, well, he knows something that no one else does. Then they're going to come to Barrow and have a look, or they're going to watch this podcast or that other podcast from this area. They're going to watch it. The streamers, Johnny P,
Me.
Big Ben.
But just everything will start growing more because there's more eyes on the town. It's never your environment that stops you. It's you that stops you doing something. But I like the idea of it, and I think you could do it. It's just whether you want to or not. Like I say, but it's also you deserve a massive amount of respect as well for admitting that it was you need to pull your finger out your ass, like you said, with your family as well.
It was just
Two S's.
but it was just to the manner of sense that, you know, I know that I've been a pain in the backside for a very long time.
25 years.
It's 26 now, brother.
So,
we're all
what,
right
so
for the
what
first
was the
year.
original reason as to what made you want to go around? If you don't mind me asking, if you don't mind
Well,
divulging quickly.
it was bonfire night, and I normally go around on bonfire night for a couple of hours and have a few drinks. I was at work all day, and so when Mum, Dad, are you at home? Are you at a firework display? Went, no, we're currently in Ulverston, but we'll be home by about 10, 10:30. I was like, right, okay, I'll have my tea. I'm on my way home now from work. I'll have my tea and I'll pop round for about half 10ish. So I got round for just before 10:30. They got there about 5 minutes after. And then had a few drinks, and Chanel went to bed about after an hour and a half. And then we just had a conversation. And it was just, I think, because my dad even stated that you could tell that you have lost weight.
Good old says.
He's like you could see that you've lost quite a bit of weight.
You've definitely lost a chin.
You have I don't know if it's just me being a devil's advocate here, but what's the weight got to do with you seeing your family?
It's got nothing to do with
I
that.
think it was just a topic of conversation.
Yeah,
Ah.
it was just to go around and just simply.
Be present.
Well,
I
yeah,
think you're getting less lazy
yes, without a
because you
doubt.
walked around to your parents.
Yes,
It's not a short walk.
it's not. It's about a 10-15 minute
Yeah.
walk. And it's the same thing with.
Is this your mum and dad that live in Cloisters?
Yeah.
It's not 10-15 minute walk.
It is, because if you
Legs, hasn't
well, if you
Oh.
if you go down the cutting, it's about 10 minutes, at least for me.
At the end of the day, you went, and that's the best thing about it, mate.
yeah.
You went and bit the bullet, and you went round it. It's just about being present, mate. It's about
It's the
making.
one thing that I just wasn't doing much was getting off my fat ass and going around to my mum's and seeing my family.
Tomorrow's not promised ever.
No, because I
So
said
don't
said
waste
I'll,
it.
I said I'll try and come round tonight. I said there's no promises, and that my dad just went, just give us a text and let us know if you're coming round. He said I know that you're going on the podcast.
Yeah.
And so I went, I will try to come round for today because I said I am off work. So I said I'll try and come for the evening for a couple of hours. So up here I'm going. Even if you have to walk all the way there from here,
I'll drop you off.
At
just
the end of the day, mate, you just do what you got to do. I mean, it's not ideal, is it, El? But unfortunately, life's not easy. And that's in every manner of sense, like you say. And like you just said, whether it's walking 10, 15 minutes, that obviously a few months back would have been more of an issue for you than it is now. But
Yes.
ultimately, your family's your family. Tomorrow's not promised. God forbid, touch wood, but one of them just dropped dead overnight. And then you're like, oh my God, I've not seen him in months and months and months. And you'll sit there and you'll regret it for the rest of your life.
It's that
Yeah.
saying, right? People say, how long have you got left with your grandparents? Someone says, oh,
Me.
got a
Listen,
good
I know what you're saying.
got a good 10 years.
Feeling it.
Got a good 10 years left here.
Oh, it's a good one, though. It's a good
And
one.
then you say to them, so how many times see your grandparents a year? And they're like, oh, I'm 2 or 3. So you haven't got 10 years with them. You've got to see them 20 or 30 times. Not 10 years, you've got to see them 20 or 30 times. And that made me start going to see my grandparents a lot more regularly
yeah.
than what I did because it sort of hit home. Like, like shit. Like, I need to start seeing them more with the time I've got left instead of thinking, oh, they're going to be alive for another 10, 20 years.
Well, it's even worse when you do it over a longer stretch. So, say, for instance, with your parents, and you say, for instance, you see them once a year, like you said, and which I used to see my dad once a year, right? This is when he worked away and all the rest of it. So, once a year. So, 10 years, you've seen him 10 times. 40 years, you've seen him 40 times, and you're pretty much, and then he's gone. Usually, if that was the way it would go. And then he would have been 90. So, say, for instance, from now, you've got 40 times to see your dad. You would count every time, and you would hate counting down, but your mind would do it. So for me now, and it has done for the past probably 7 or 8 years, I drop absolutely everything. Whenever my family's involved, sorry, I'll use a second, podcast second. The only thing that isn't second now is obviously the baby and Beth. But
that's technically family.
yeah, I know it is, but I don't waste it because some people are not even in the position to see family anymore because they've either already died or whatever. So who am I to take advantage of my own situation? Do you know what I mean? It's just out of respect. So my nana's in the hospital now. I could be up there every day if I want, but I don't want to. I don't want to see her in there. When she's at home, I'll be there every day if she wants. But for me, even this now, there's a part of me that thinks I should be probably going up once every 2 days. But then I'm also thinking, when's the cut off? Do you know what I mean? Like I can't. My whole life doesn't revolve around that. So it's a balance, but it's
So a prime example of that, right? My nana Shirley, my dad's mum, she randomly died during
Yeah.
COVID.
Yeah.
Right? And obviously the only way I could see her was going into the backyard and talking to her through the kitchen window.
Yeah.
That was it. Right? And literally I'd seen her. I used to go around like 2 or 3 times a week. And I'd seen her at the start of the week, and this was the end of the week when I was due to go around to see her again after work. I got a phone call off my dad. Don't go back to work. This has happened.
yeah. Well,
And literally, by the time I got to my nana's, there was about 30 of us, which is all family,
yeah.
in my nana's house because it's family.
So I'm going to ask a potentially sensitive, but you'll know what I mean. So did partly that annoy you because you know that some of those members haven't even seen her?
Yeah.
So what had happened?
I know, I understand, like, certain ones, like my cousin lives in Leeds.
That's different.
Do you know what I mean? But yeah, I know exactly what I mean. And yeah, it did annoy me. It's like they were straight there then because that's happened.
But they're not there when she potentially needs you when she was alive.
Yeah. And then obviously it's the same with my other nana. Obviously we'd just come out of COVID. We were away.
Yeah, we were aware, weren't we?
And I got the phone call off my mum. And I didn't know what to do.
I was a bit upset with your mum there.
Because my mum turned around and said, stay where you are, enjoy your night, because that's what your nana would have wanted you to do. Don't come home till tomorrow.
I was also upset with her because why didn't she wait? I get it because it could have been the other way. As in, it's got really nothing to do with me. But the only way I can sort of say it as is because I was there with you at the time. For me, my personal thing would have been: don't tell me until I'm home. Don't tell me now because I'm not gonna. I want to come home straight away.
That's the thing with me. If she said, I've got something to tell you,
then it'd sit on your mind
It'd
all
sit on my
night.
mind all night, and I wouldn't have had a good night. Do you know what I mean?
I'd rather have got told when you did, because if I woke up in the morning and seen people writing on Facebook how much they miss and the memories and all that, I'd have gone absolutely.
That was me with
batshit.
Anna.
Yeah, because obviously they already know, and then you've only just found out.
Depends on the circumstance as well, I guess, and on the family member. So for me, your circumstance was obviously looking from the outside. You'd not been away in like 3.5 years. You'd not done anything. The one night you're away with your mates for the first time in 3.5 years. Obviously, it's just the way it happened, and you can't control it. Maybe it was meant to be. For me, if I was in that, but once again, I don't want to disrespect by saying I would. But for me, I would have probably been like, maybe wait till later. Like instantly telling you. To be fair, you handled it really well. We just got more drunk because it's.
I just kind of went blank after that. I think.
Well, we sort of got more drunk, and it was good because it sort of took your mind off it, and then didn't it swallow your card as well?
That's right.
No, it was.
He was went to get me my money you owe me in the bank.
It's all. Josh was in a position where he's like, "You sort of owe me money, Kia," and your nana's like, unfortunately passed. So like, what do I do? Like, I don't want to be an ass.
He's just sort of there going,
Like,
It was a bank card from Halifax.
I was really hoping it'd swallow that one as
at
well.
all point, but it was like,
that's what I was like with my Nana passing, because the way I found out, because they went to go and see her in the hospital, so she may not have gone that night. So I wake up, first thing that I see was my uncle, my mum, etc. Their post, and then that's when I just remember going downstairs, going to the sofa, just gone, just blocked out, and that's the way it was.
like
I sat on the same spot that she would always sit on every day.
it's different families, different things in it. But
Yeah.
like I say, unfortunately, that is for you guys that are watching. That is unfortunately where we're going to have to end this week's episode of the podcast.
We'll do a part two. Maybe.
We were going to end it on a bit of a lighter note, but it's also we talk about everything on here. So I want to give a massive shout out to all you guys that have stayed for this, the whole hour. A massive shout out to all our sponsors, Lakeside Fire and Security. We do have Northwest Plumbing and Heating, TNT Records, and Transform Physique Gym. We also have the home of the podcast, which is The Night. So follow us on TikTok, Spotify, YouTube, Facebook. Make sure you're back here next Monday at 6 p.m. where we will be live again.
Also, a big shout out to obviously the people that commented on the podcast tonight. Some of them commented in class.
Samuel, I think yours was a standout comment for this week's episode. Make sure you come back next week. Zara, you had a good one as well. Massive shout out to you guys.
Okay, we want your brother on the podcast.
With his new pressure washer, and Mole, want to give a shout out to you for coming on as a guest.
No, it's not a problem, Jen. Thank you so much for welcoming me back.
And Samuel, we will be in touch.
And for those of you guys that are just quickly wanting to come onto the podcast, go onto the Facebook page and book on whenever you want. It's entirely up to you. If you want to come on, you can. We've been the JBK podcast. We'll be back next week.
Check them out.